Boys and girls, how are you doing? To use my best Joey line. You having fun? Yes. Any comments or questions on what we've done so far? Or are you ready to dive into the real meat, the whole purpose of what today was about? You know, we haven't actually got to the point yet. You do realize this, right? You want to dive in? Okay, here's how you swim. Here's what you're going to do. We're going to do this in 2 stages. Number 1, you're going to induce trance by any means possible. Violence is accepted at this point. Boilerplate 1. It's your standard practice now, right? Create a sanctuary. If you want to orient them a little bit into it, that's fine too. Here's where we start deviating. What's the word I'm looking for? Here we go. Once they're in, let's say the Garden of Eden, you know, like running around and soaking up the sun and swinging with the monkeys and having that great time, you're going to find a doorway. You're going to suggest to them that there is a part or in a place, a location within this scene that they've created with you, which is going to lead them somewhere else. And here's the implication. It's going to lead you somewhere really important, where an important message is waiting for you. Something important. So you're in the garden, maybe you're swinging on the swing, and it says, okay, now you've had all this, you had your fun, let's get down to work. I'd like you to search this garden until you find a place of importance. Because when you find this place, it could be a shadow underneath a tree, it could be a little bush, it could be a stairway somewhere. But when you find this place, you'll notice there's a path that leads somewhere. Now, it could be leading down, like a well leading downwards. It could be leading across, like a path leading into a forest. It could be going upwards, like a ladder going somewhere. I don't know where it is. You don't know where it is. But when you'll find it, you'll recognize it. You'll know. Does that make sense? That's your doorway. You need to set it up so that they realize it's a place of importance. It's not just something else you do. It's something important, and they have to find it. So they have to keep searching until they find a place that has that quality. Does that make sense? It's an important step. When they find it, you're going to suggest that you're going to count from 10 to 1. With each count between 10 and 1, you're going to make your journey through this doorway, through this pathway, to the other end. At the other end, you'll find something very special that your unconscious mind is prepared for you. A different place, a different scene. Maybe people will be there, maybe other symbols. I don't know, and you don't know yet. But as I count from 10 to 1, you'll get there. And then you start counting. You ready to do that? Sure. 10. Moving slowly, and you use all your language. 9, 8, 7, deeper and deeper, further and further, curious about what's going to happen. 6, 5, 4, almost there. 3, maybe you can start seeing something. What's that over there? 2, 1 step into it. Now, very important, you use the skills you just learned to orient them into this new scene. So what do you see? What do you sense? Is it light? Is it dark? Are you inside? Are you outside? Are there other people around? So you just ask questions and then let them come back with information. All you're doing now is essentially what you did with Brave New World, but because of the setup, something different will come out. Does that make sense to everyone? Now, you don't have to get too much detail. All I want you to do right now is orient them to this new experience. Just orient them there. Once you've done that, you can then count back 1 to 10, so you're reversing the entrance process. You count back 1 to 10, they move through the doorway back into the sanctuary. So all that, these 3 steps, get reversed all the way back up here. And then finally, you do your boilerplates 2, and you finish the experience. Sound simple? Straightforward? Yes? Go ahead.
I'm not sure what you mean by orient them to the experience.
Right. Remember how in the last exercise you just did, they were, let's say, where did you take them to? Where did you lead them to? Your partner? Was it in a forest? Was it in a beach? When you were the hypnotist, where did you lead your partner to?
The beach.
The beach, great. So when you were at the beach, did you ask them like, hey, what's that? And then, oh, look, there's a seagull. So you didn't know the seagull was going to be there, but they did, or something like that.
I asked questions and they answered more details.
Yeah, like what questions? Give me an example.
Other people there? Other people there?
And then what did it say?
Yes, and I said how many?
Great, okay? That's an orienting question,
Okay.
right? So here, when they get down to the end of this, you don't know what's going to be there yet. So you want to make sure, because you haven't given any hint as to what's going to be there, you want them to start describing it to you. And that gestalt, if you like, that shape of all the things that are happening around them, can sometimes emerge slowly. So they'll go, I don't know. So you might typically go, 3, 2, 1. What do you see? What do you sense? It's dark. So it's dark. What happens next? Well, there's a light over there. Go to the light. See what happens. Okay, I'm in the light. I'm in a cave. So look around the cave. Is there anyone else around? No. So you're alone in a cave. Yes. Great. You're done. You've located them in a place physically, and maybe they found something. Maybe there's a person there. Maybe there's a symbol there, an elephant, a book, a table lamp. You'd be surprised how many elephants, books, and table lamps are not going to appear in your dreams. It happens. I'm sorry, it was true. And then once they have that, you're done. You reverse the process. You count. You tell them you're going to do. You're going to count from 1 to 10. They go back through the doorway, back into sanctuary, chill out there for a minute or so. Then you boilerplate 2 and finish the experience. Does that make sense? Simple. Go ahead. Microphone or macrophone, because these are quite large.
I don't understand the 10 to 1. Are you walking them to the doorway, through the doorway?
Through the doorway. So let's take a typical scene, right? You're in a garden. You set it off in a garden. The doorway becomes, say, a well, right? So say, okay, there's going to be a mechanism that's going to get you down, and at the bottom of the well will be something or some place that's waiting for you from your unconscious. Great. So now I'm going to count from 10 to 1. Get inside, and they can say, oh, what's the mechanism? Let's say it's a bucket and winch. Get inside the bucket. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. With each count, you're going to go lower, lower down the well. At the count of 1, you'll be at the bottom of the well, and the experience that your unconscious prepared for you will be there for you. 10, the winch is lowering down. 9, deeper and deeper. Works great, doesn't it? 8, 7. I wonder how many wells and buckets you're going to find in this one. 6. Then you might sort of add things like, and the light from the garden all the way up there, so far and distant now. 5, 4, 3.
Do you know that? Do you know what they're...
You're asking them.
You're asking them in trance.
You're asking them in trance about the doorway. What is the doorway they're going to find?
What is the doorway? Okay.
That's why you have this step. So you're in the garden first. Then you say, okay, I want you to find a doorway, a special place, a place that feels significant. Because when you find that place, you'll find a doorway, a path, or something that will lead you to another place. And you can give me examples. It might be a well. It might be some roots by a tree which take you down. It might be the rabbit hole that Alice took. It might be a pathway that leads you out of the garden to another place. I don't know what that will be, nor do you. But I want you to search through that garden until you find a place like that. Go ahead and do that now and let me know when you've got it. Got it. What is it? Well, there's a bush, and underneath it's nice and dark. So you've got a bush, and underneath it's nice and dark, yes. Look underneath that bush and find out what is it that takes you to another place. Oh, there's a hole in the ground, and I can slide down it. Great. So in a moment I'm going to count from 10 to 1. With each number between 10 and 1, you're going to begin at the top of the slide and slide all the way down. So by the time I get to number 1, the ride will have finished and you'll have ended up in a place created specifically for you by your unconscious mind. Do you understand? Yes. Okay, beginning now. 10, stepping on the slide. 9, whee, floating down there. Do you see how that all gets set up? So you need absolutely to ask them about this, otherwise this makes no sense. And then this is what gets them, this is what you're really looking for. But these get you there, and this is what you want. Does that make sense to everyone? Go ahead.
As for the sanctuary, does the client have to describe the sanctuary? Could it be artfully vague language as you describe it?
Sure. I mean, the sanctuary is just a launch pad for where you really want to be, which is down here. This is what you're looking for, right? So you want them to actually give you specific details here, so you know that they're somewhere, and you're basically doing what you did earlier on. You force them to create something. This is just a scene that allows you to create this, which allows you to create the pathway to that. So that's the purpose of the sanctuary. It's a nice, calm, comfortable place. And typically, you can describe that to them. You can do that together if you want to hand more responsibility to them. But you want to have details enough so you know that they're actually engaged in the experience.
So basically identify the sanctuary.
Outside of trance is fine. This can be a totally conscious mind chosen thing.
Got it.
There's no problem with that because this is a launch pad. This, they can't choose consciously.
Got it.
Because you don't want anything conscious there.
Got it.
Okay? Go ahead, David. Oh, sorry. Wait a second, David. There's one more behind you. Go ahead.
So if they pick like a doorway such as this one, where
Sure.
it's just a single door, the 10-to-1 would be the path to the door and on the other
Right?
side?
If it's a doorway, well, there's two possibilities, right? Either there's a path behind the doorway that they have to take, they don't know yet, or it takes 10-to-1 for the door to open so they can step through, right? You have to play it by ear when you actually get there. This is where you actually earn your stripes, boys and girls, because now you actually have to interact. You have to actually have something there, rather than you be able to like plan it ahead of time or whatever it is. Now you actually have to interact with a real mind. Go ahead, David.
The purpose of the counting, is that just for a time limit, or?
It's to make sure that you're in charge of the process whilst they're in charge of the content, and it gives them a procedure to get there. You could literally say 3, 2, 1, you're there, and for some people it'll work, for some people it'll be a bit harder. It can be 5 to 1, it can be 3 to 1, I really don't care what it is. It means that you're in control of the process, whereas they're in control of the content, which is the balance that you actually want. Okay? Go ahead.
Just wanted to clarify, the boilerplate 2
Yes.
is your voice?
The boilerplate 2 is right behind Sean over
It's
there.
the voice.
Which
it
is
correct?
next time you go into trance, you can go in there quicker and easier. And self-esteem. So in a moment we'll be ready to come out. I just want to know you did a great job, you're a great person, and you're going to do great work. Right? And boilerplate 1 is sounds around you, my voice, and a place of safety. Exactly. So just look all over there and you've got it.
When you're at the orient stage,
Could you pass the microphone over? Go on.
when you're at the orient stage, how long? You ask questions. How long we stay at the orient stage
This
for?
is again something you're going to have to use your personal instinct for. All I'm going to say for now is you want to get a sense that there is a real place inside their mind. When you get a sense that, okay, there's an actual physical location with things there, then you're done. You don't have to do any more than that. If you get a sense that there's something missing, that it's sort of vague still, you keep asking questions. When you get a sense that they've got something concrete, you're done. Okay?
In the orientation phase, do we want to know what they are, what learnings they're coming back with?
No, you don't need anything like that yet.
Okay.
All you want is to orient them to a physical location, and you're creating a space basically for other things to happen, but we're not doing that yet. We're just going to do this bit for now, just because that's enough to bite off in one go. Everyone cool on that? Everyone clear what you're doing? So I'm going to give you 15 minutes apiece, because this is a more involved process. Find a different partner. I'll give you a warning when 15 minutes are up, and off you go. You see, you guys must be going on longer journeys, because it's taking me longer to get you back. It's like you're explorers in a jungle, and like the first few days, we just went to the river and back, but now you crossed to the other